3-5, writing and solving proportions. First, you have to remember what a ratio is. A ratio is when you use division to compare two quantities. You can write a ratio as a fraction with the word to or with a colon. Most of what we're going to see will be fractions, but sometimes we'll have to take words like this and make the fraction like this. Proportion. When you take two ratios and put them together with an equal sign, you're showing that they're equal ratios in an equation. That's a proportion. So, here's a proportion. Here's a proportion. Okay? Okay, writing proportions. When you see them written out in words like this, you make two fractions joined by an equal sign. Okay, so let's start with the equal sign. Now, this whole side is one fraction. 3 is to 8. That means 3 is to 8. As is equals. X is to 32 is the next side. X is to 32. Just like that. Simple. Easy. Here's another one. 6 is to x as 4 is to 9. 6 is to x. That's the first side. As is equals. As 4 is to 9. That's how you write a proportion from words. Solving proportions. Here's a proportion. Let's go ahead and write it as a proportion first, and then we'll solve it. So 6 is to 9 as x is to 15. Solve it. We're going to cross multiply. Now, this is a little bit different than cross multiply up, and you'll see why in a minute. So we're going to cross multiply and cross multiply. 6 times 15. Well, 6 times 15 is 90. And 9 times x, 9x. Now, could we solve for x? Sure. Divide by 9. Divide by 9. So x equals 10. Here's another proportion. Sometimes they're already written out for us. Sometimes you have to write them as a proportion and solve them. Still going to follow the same way. So we're going to cross multiply up. Well, b times 7 is 7b. You know how in algebra we like to put the number in front of the letter? 7 times b, 7b. 5 times 4, 20. Divide by 7. Divide by 7. b equals 20 over 7. Or you could get a decimal on your calculator, but a fraction is perfectly fine. Let's try another one. How about 6r over 10 equals 36 over 15. We have to cross multiply up. 10 times 36, that's 360. 15 times 6r is going to be 90r. Now, divide by 90, divide by 90, and r equals 4. Now, here's where it gets kind of fun. You're still cross multiplying up. So 5 times 39. Well, let's see. 39 times 5. 5 times 9 is 45. 3 times 5 is 15. That's 19. Okay, so 195 equals the 13 times the k minus 4. To do 13 times k minus 4, you have to distribute. So 195 equals 13k minus 13 times 4. Well, 13 times 4 is 52. Now what? Plus 52 plus 52. So that's a 7. That's a 14. So 247. Oops, that does not look like a 2. Equals 13k. Now what? Divide by 13. Divide by 13. I have no idea what 247 divided by 13 is. So I'll divide. 1 goes in there once. That leaves 117. I'm going to try 9 because 3 times 9 is 27, so maybe it'll work out. That's 27. Yeah, that's it. 19. So k equals 19. Let's try this one. 64 times m plus 3. That's 64 parentheses m plus 3 equals 8 times 40. Well, 8 times 40 is 320. Okay, so distribute 64m plus 64 times 3, which is 192. So 64m plus 192 equals 320. Now minus 192 minus 192. 64m equals, subtract, it's an 8, that's a 2, that's a 1, 128. So m equals 2, because when you divide by 64, you get 2. Here's your last video homework. Have a great night.